Hello everyone, my name is Aarti and you're watching hwnews. It is often said that if you educate a man, you educate an individual. But if you educate a woman, you educate a generation. In India's neighboring country Afghanistan, the Taliban rulers have stepped on the hopes of millions of children of future generation, especially women. The Taliban rulers last week announced the ban on university education of women. Now, this is an indefinite ban according to the letter issued by Ministry of Higher Education to all the government and private universities in Afghanistan. Since then, social media is flooded with videos of Afghan women crying and weeping, standing outside their classrooms and literally begging to be taken inside the classrooms. In some parts, the women have already started protesting the ban. Many of them were hoping to give exams in the next few weeks. Now, their hopes are shattered. Significantly, this time women are not alone in their fight for their basic right to education. Even men, classmates of these women, are coming out in their support. Many of them are refusing to give exams to show their solidarity with their female classmates who have been denied education. A video surfaced yesterday that showed a university professor tearing his own degree certificate on live television, saying, "What is the use of this certificate in a country where his sisters can't get education?" Incidentally, last year when Taliban took over the country, it had promised to not jeopardize the education of women. But since then, it has only gone back on its promise. Restrictions on women in Afghanistan are only rising, strikingly similar to its last rule. In light of this, we spoke to Ms. Zahra. She is a student of Punjab University and doing her PhD in political science in India. What does she feel looking back at her homeland where she grew up? What are her hopes for women in Afghanistan? We spoke to her about this. Have a look at this conversation. So, Zara, first of all, tell us when did you come to India and what is the situation in Afghanistan? What came to your mind first when you heard about Taliban's ban on university education of women in Afghanistan?
It is unforgettable moment when I am heard about the news which Taliban took over Afghanistan for the second time. Unfortunately, Afghan women do not have any good experience from the previous regime of Taliban. Afghanistan has been plagued of by war for 4 decades, and women are the main victims of this war. And unfortunately, in the second times in for the second time in 2021, when Taliban come to power again, their first task was to create some strict obstacles for women, which include closing of parks, closing of schools, and also gyms, and even a woman cannot travel alone without mahram. And it is very right now that we are witness that Taliban have banned the doors of universities for girls, as well as women from performing duties in national and international institutions in Afghanistan. And this decision of Taliban, it is against the human rights. Basically, it is against the fundamental freedom of women.
Right. Uh, Zara, as I told you, there are videos coming in from Afghanistan where you can see literally women standing outside their classrooms crying. They are begging the teachers, the institute, whoever is running the institute, to let them inside the classrooms. And women are coming out and they are asking that they want to go back to their classrooms. Many women have their exams coming up, especially university students. Many might be your and my age. Uh, what do you think? Do you have any friends or relatives in Afghanistan? Do you talk to them? What are they saying about this situation?
Yes, my relatives are and my family are in Afghanistan, and when I'm talking with them, they are always they are sad because they have become the victims of the political games, and actually they are totally hopeless, and they always saying and thinking about their unknown future. that it is so difficult for them to bear the current situation of Afghanistan.
Right. Uh, do you think that women become the victim of this political game whenever there is a change of guards in Afghanistan? In 1990s, the Afghanistan Taliban took over Afghanistan. In 2021, when they came back to power, they said that this time things will be different. Women will be allowed to get education. But seems like in just 1 year, they have taken a U-turn on their promises.
Unfortunately, no, ma'am. Because see, if we compare the previous government by with the Taliban government 1996 till 2001, and we see today's the leader of Taliban saying that we are in Afghanistan. The Islamic system has been completed, implemented throughout Afghanistan. I am sorry to say that which kind of which kind of system, which kind of Islamic system, the system in which the girls are not allowed to acquire knowledge, the system in which the woman is the woman are beaten in public, the system in which there is no freedom of speech, the system which has no constitution. It is totally difficult, ma'am, to believe that this kind of system is going in Afghanistan, and this kind of system and government has no legitimacy among people and among the world. And I must say, this matter has no place in Islam nor in any other religion. That today an Afghan girl is deprived from the most basic rights, that is education. It that is education.
As a young Afghan woman, probably, I think you are born after the Taliban regime, or maybe uh, I might, if I might say this, that not after Taliban regime, but during Taliban regime, but you haven't seen the heydays of Taliban regime. As a young woman who has seen Afghanistan post Taliban started losing their hold over the country, now when you look back at it, the situation, what is happening in Afghanistan. What do you think about that?
See, mom, I was newborn baby for when Taliban was in power in Afghanistan from 1996 to 2001. But currently, actually, when I see the current situation of especially women in Afghanistan, I feel sad that I am sure that this kind of situation is no more longer. And also, ma'am, the Taliban have never changed. There is no difference between previous Taliban and current Taliban. Both are same. Their mentality, the way of thinking, their minds, their performance are same. And we all witnessed that the previous Taliban government on the past, they are all also they don't allow female to go to university, like to get education. Currently they are also do the same thing.
Right, right. Many countries across the world, especially the Western countries, have condemned the decision of Taliban to not allow women to get education in universities. Do you think that will create a sort of global pressure and that will lead to Taliban reconsidering their decision?
Of course, ma'am. Yes, and now we are witness that many countries, now all the worlds, and that they get the reaction against Taliban. The okay regarding the recent decision of Taliban that are closing of universities and universities for girls, and that I hope by putting pressure from United Nations and international community and the European Union, okay, they can bring some changes and the situation get better for especially for women in Afghanistan.
Right. Uh, Many Taliban ministers' children, it has been reported that they are themselves studying. For example, Suhail Sareen, the spokesperson of Taliban, his children are studying in Qatar. They are studying medicine, while his daughters are in fact studying in Qatar. They are studying medicine, whereas women in Afghanistan, they are barred from entering educational spaces. How do you look at it? Don't you think that this is a hypocrisy from Taliban's perspective?
Actually, it is yeah, shameful for Taliban, ma'am. In Afghanistan, the Afghan girl is not allowed to even travel alone. But their children, but their daughters, they go abroad for study and they can freely travel. And it is very sad, ma'am. And Taliban be assured that this Afghan people will not be silent anymore. And I just say the Taliban should allow Afghan female to study like they are allowing their children to go abroad for studying. It is the basic rights of human, and it is the basic rights of a woman in all the world. In other countries, there is no country they are just prohibited that female cannot travel alone and female cannot study. It is nowadays it is only Afghanistan that they make some rule and regulation for people, especially for women.
Right. So I think it is according to their convenience that they are making rules for Afghanistan women while their own children are conveniently studying outside and in other countries. Well, Zara, one last question to you. As a student studying in India, I know it must be difficult to see your siblings or your friends or relatives in Afghanistan reel under the Taliban rule, suffering under the Taliban rule. But as a student studying in India, when you look back at your country, what is the message that you would like to give out to India, to the United Nations, and the world community at large?
Yes, ma'am. It is much tough for me when it is about many years that I can't visit my family, my siblings, my parents. It is very difficult for me, and also my message to the world and the United Nations, international community, and please stand with Afghan female in bad situation they are currently they are in. But exactly the special message for Indian government is that please issue the visa for students who are in Afghanistan. They are not completing their studies in India. Please issue the visa and they should complete their studies. And
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Zara, for this conversation. I hope your pleas fell to right ears. Thank you so much for this conversation.
thank you.
Hi, you have been watching our videos on HW News English. But why be content with content in just one language when you can choose from both? Yes, from 1st of January, we are bringing together the repository of our ground reports, interviews, and analysis under the umbrella of HW News Network. So, while HW News English will stay as it is, you will now be able to watch our Hindi and English reportage together. So don't forget to watch HW News Network from 1st of January.